Coming up on today's episode of Airborne-Unlimited, NTSB provides details on tragic Rob Holland accident. Airbus and Delta use delivery tactic to avoid Trump tariffs. Secretary Duffy launches cash incentive for ATC hiring. Welcome to Airborne Unlimited. I'm your host, Holland Lee. Let's get into today's stories. NTSB provides details on tragic Rob Holland accident. An NTSB preliminary report is shedding some light on the Rob Holland tragedy, and there now seems to be a mechanical element as a prime suspect. The flight was destined for LFI, where the airplane made a normal approach to the runway, and when it was over the end of the runway, it leveled off about 50 feet above the runway and flew straight down for several hundred feet. Quote, the airplane then porpoised twice, pitched straight up, rolled 90 degrees to the left, and descended to ground impact, end quote. The NTSB notes, quote, the airplane came to rest on a heading of 150 degrees in a grass ditch about 100 feet from the left side of runway 8 and 500 feet beyond the approach threshold. All major components of the airplane were accounted for at the accident site. The left elevator counterweight plug was not installed and was located about 10 feet behind the wreckage in the grass. Dirt consistent with that found in the vicinity of the accident site was identified on the elevator, as well as in the counterbore and threaded area where the counterweight plug would have been installed. The counterweight plug threads were intact and also contained similar dirt contamination consistent with that found on the elevator. Additionally, about half of the circumference of the left elevator counterweight plug displayed gouging and there was evidence of paint transfer. The horizontal stabilizer structure adjacent to the elevator position where the counterweight plug would have been installed displayed dents and paint scrapes consistent with contact with the counterweight plug, end quote. After the break, Boeing 787 reaches the billion-passenger milestone in record time.
Direct Fly USA proudly introduces the new Alto NG, a single-engine, two-seat light sport aircraft for the North American market. This simple, all-metal aircraft design provides low-maintenance cost, easy, comfortable access, and responsive flight controls. Equipped with the Rotax 912 engine and a ballistic parachute, the Alto NG is reliable and safe. Learn more about the Alto NG at directflyusa.com.
Welcome back. Now let's take a trip around the patch for some shorter stories. Boeing 787 reaches the billion-passenger milestone in record time. On April 30th, Boeing announced that its worldwide fleet of 787 Dreamliners had surpassed 1 billion passengers carried in the less than 14 years since its entry to service. The aircraft reached this milestone faster than any wide-body airliner in history. Despite entering service only 14 years ago, the Dreamliner concept had been in the works since 2003. The aircraft, first known as the 7E7, aimed for a clean-sheet, efficient design with a similar passenger capacity to the 767. Engineers used composite materials, new engines, and aerodynamic structure changes to bring their ideas to life. Ryanair debates switching to Chinese plane maker. Low-cost carrier Ryanair posits that incoming tariffs under President Trump could put an end to its long-standing commitment to Boeing and instead make it a customer for Chinese plane maker Comac. Ryanair CEO Michael O'Leary allegedly made several comments hinting that he would be willing to make the switch to Chinese-made jets if the price was right. This triggered a warning letter from U.S. Representative Raja Krishnamurthy, the top Democrat on the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party. FAI announces Ballooning Commission Hall of Fame inductees. The Anderson Abruzzo Albuquerque International Balloon Museum announced that Richard Abruzzo of the U.S. and Hans Åkerstedt of Sweden are this year's inductees into the FAI World Air Sports Federation Ballooning Commission Balloon and Airship Hall of Fame. The inductees were announced at the Ballooning Commission's plenary meeting in New Delhi in March 2025. The museum hosts the induction ceremony, which this year will be held on October 3rd. ERAU students achieved top 10 in maintenance competition. Students in the Daytona Beach campus of Embry Riddle Aeronautical University's Aviation Maintenance Science Department recently put 2 teams up against more than 40 other schools in the 2025 Aerospace Maintenance Competition. The competition was hosted by the Aerospace Maintenance Council on the MRO Americas exhibition floor that ran from April 21st through 23rd. Teams competed in several categories, including commercial aviation, general aviation, military, schools, MROs, and OEMs. There were 27 hands-on challenges that each tested an aspect of aviation maintenance knowledge. That's it for today's trip around the patch. Let's get back to the rest of the news. Airbus and Delta use delivery tactic to avoid Trump tariffs. Airbus is resurrecting a former trade war tactic by redirecting aircraft deliveries to U.S. airlines through other countries to avoid President Trump's tariff chaos. The move is part of a broader effort to minimize the financial impact of proposed import duties on civil aircraft. Airbus explains that aircraft sent to the U.S. from Europe are subject to tariffs if delivered directly, and those assembled in Alabama also trigger a 10% tariff since parts are still imported. To bypass these charges, Airbus is shipping aircraft to third countries for delivery. A recent example involves a Delta Airlines A350-900, originally scheduled to fly from Toulouse, France to Tokyo for delivery. Though the flight was delayed, the aircraft is still expected to be handed over outside the U.S. Airbus used similar methods during the 2020-2021 U.S.-EU trade dispute, when tariffs of up to 15% were imposed on aircraft due to subsidy disagreements between Boeing and Airbus. Delta CEO Ed Bastian has also been very upfront about the airline's intentions, stating last month, quote, "We will not be paying tariffs on any aircraft deliveries. We've been clear with Airbus on that and we'll work through and see what happens," end quote. After these messages, Secretary Duffy launches cash incentive for ATC hiring.
I'm currently using the Hartzell Talon, by far the best aerobatic propeller ever come out.
I use the Trailblazer. It adds performance to the Super Decathlon and dependability, and it's rugged.
Hartzell's been an excellent partner for Whip Air, just in terms of your product support as well as keeping an eye on the market and developing new products that meet demand.
It's helping us all have better performing airplanes.
It's such a proud honor to fly behind that propeller.
Looking for a new generation of proven and efficient aviation power plants that boast modern engineering, electronic ignition, and both direct and gear drive systems? With 100 horsepower to 240 horsepower, the Skyline and Redline engines offer uncommon value in an overpriced industry. Whether you are looking for fixed wing or rotor, MW Fly Americas has been established to service the American market with dedication and expertise. MWFlyAmericas.com.
Meet the first of a new generation of the M-Class family. The M700 Fury. An aircraft worthy of the name, an indomitable force. The M700 Fury transcends traditional limits with more power, blistering performance, a finely appointed interior, and the luxury of what matters most: time. Experience the Fury. Join the legacy.
Welcome back. Secretary Duffy launches cash incentive for ATC hiring. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy will be throwing some extra cash at ATC Academy graduates, new hires, and controllers who opt to work past retirement age. Under the new cash incentive program, the FAA will grant $5,000 bonuses to all ATC Academy graduates or new hires upon completion of initial qualification training. Graduates who are assigned to 13 facilities and have faced other struggles through their hiring and training processes could even get a $10,000 bonus. Air traffic controllers who are already certified can also get in on the action. Those who are younger than 56 and choose to stay in the workplace after becoming eligible for retirement will receive an extra 20% of their basic pay per year until stepping down. The new incentives are part of Duffy's plan to supercharge ATC hiring in 2025. He's working with the FAA to cut notoriously slow hiring steps from 8 to 5, shaving at least 4 months off the timeline. Trainees were also tempted with a pay boost of up to 30% and the potential to earn an average of $160,000 within 3 years of graduation. Once these efforts went public, the FAA saw a major jump in ATC Academy interest. The agency expects that it will hire upwards of 2,000 controllers within the year. And that's our show for today. You can catch episodes of Airborne on YouTube, Roku, or Fire TV. Just search for Aero-News or Airborne. And don't forget to follow us on social media. Thanks for watching.